Okay, I am going to have to remove myself for 1 second just to check in, but I'll come back and do a last white balance and audio check, okay? Thank you.
They said they got about half our plugged in.
Spin our last preparations up here. Did everyone is okay with the breakout boxes? I'm talking now, so if anyone needs to do an audio check, please feel free. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 3 4. This is about the level that we'll be staying at. Maybe a little bit louder. 1 2 1 2, and then coming down a little bit lower. Make sure everyone can hear me. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, actually, Caitlin, can you go into my office in my purple backpack, and there should be 2 little note card business card holders. Grab the purple one. Thank you. Okay, 1 2 1 2. I'm gonna do for audio check a network call, roll call. Okay, I've got Orlando Advocate over here. I've got Telemundo. Where you at? Got you. News 6. Where you at? Got you. Zaps Network. I see you in the sweatshirt. Fox 35. Got you. Orlando Sentinel. Perfect. West 2. Got you. Spectrum News 13. Perfect. CNB. Got you. Channel 9. Perfect. Florida Sun. Did I not call out anybody? Did anybody show up that I wasn't? WFE?
Yeah, WFE 90.7.
WFE or WFME? MFE, see? Because I know I will switch some letters around. 90.7 WFME, got you. Anyone else that came in that I did not call? No? Okay, perfect. So, just to give you a brief idea of what's going on, at 2 o'clock, our people are going to come in. Assistant Commissioner Lee Massey will be addressing you guys first, and then Special Agent in charge of the Orlando area, John Vecchio, will be addressing you second to give you a little bit more insight into the arrest we made today. The press release will go out after the conference has concluded, so you'll get that as well. And I'll have my business cards as well if you need to get in contact with me for anything, okay? Do we have everybody as far as audio? Are we okay? Are we still working on that? Okay, I've got thumbs up from this area, thumbs up from this area. Do we have that one person? Okay. I know there's probably going to be a little bit of a hum in the background. I was testing it earlier, but as they're talking, there should be a little bit of a clear out. So you'll be hearing from FDLE Assistant Commissioner Lee, L-E-E, Massey, M-A-S-S-I-E, I-E. And then Special Agent in Charge John, traditional spelling, J-O-H-N, Vecchio, V-E-C-C-H-I-O. Okay, I'm going to do the audio test one more time. 1, 2, 3. All right, I see a thumbs up from us too. Everyone's good. Audio. We'll do a quick white balance as well, if no one's gotten white balance. Got it. Okay, perfect. All right, give us 2 more minutes, and then we'll be ready to go. You'll see me come back in, and then everyone will come in after me.
How y'all doing?
Yeah, it's a good answer. Good answer. It's a win for all of us, right? I feel you. Good afternoon. My name is Lee Massey. I'm Assistant Commissioner with FDLE. And on behalf of Commissioner Glass, I want to express our appreciation for you all showing up today. Obviously, we're here to discuss the arrest of Regina Hill. I'm going to give a brief overview of some of the information, and then I'm going to turn it over to Special Agent in Charge, John Vecchio. Mrs. Hill effectively betrayed the trust of her community by taking advantage of a 96-year-old elderly citizen, which is one of the most vulnerable in that community. A victim who was the last of her family in the area was manipulated and lied to. Her finances and personal information misused and abused for Hill's personal benefit. Obviously extremely tragic. This investigation was very exhaustive, required countless hours of witness interviews, document analysis, which we all know is very time-consuming, and investigative methods on top of those to complete. I want to now turn this press conference over to Sac Vecchio, who's going to talk about the charges and then some of the details of the investigation. But before John comes up here, I do want to let you know the case is still active. We're still responding to inquiries about issues. So he's going to be limited on what he can answer, and I want to sort of lay that out to you guys before he comes up. But that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Sac Vecchio to give you some of the details. John?
Good afternoon. My name is John Vecchio. I'm the Special Agent in Charge for the FDLE Orlando region. Today, FDLE arrested Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill on the charges of 3 counts of exploitation of an elderly person, 1 count of scheme to defraud, 2 counts of fraudulent use of personal identification information, and 1 count of mortgage fraud greater than $100,000. Hill took advantage of one of the community's most vulnerable citizens and one of her constituents by obtaining and later using the victim's personal information and financial funds for her own benefit. This investigation began in February of 2023 when the Florida Attorney General's office contacted FDLE about a criminal complaint against Hill. The complaint alleged that Hill was taking advantage of an elderly resident who lived alone in a home that was in disrepair. Agents discovered that Hill used her influence over the victim to fraudulently obtain a power of attorney. From there, Hill criminally used the victim's personal information to purchase a home in the victim's name. Hill repeatedly used the victim's finances to purchase rental cars, hotel stays, personal luxury items such as expensive bottles of perfume from high-end retailers, clothing, and paying her own personal bills. Hill moved into a vacant home that the victim had inherited from her family and then used the victim's personal finances to pay for renovations on that home while the victim's primary residence where she lived remained in disrepair. Hill's crimes cost the victim more than $100,000. This was a complex investigation. It involved a thorough review and analysis of several years of financial records. We located many witnesses, and we interviewed them, and we did that to identify the full extent and the evidence of the exploitation that had taken place over the years. I want to thank the FDLE agents who are behind me, the investigative team, as well as our partners at the 9th Judicial Circuit and the Office of Statewide Prosecution for their dedication and countless hours of investigative work that result in this arrest. This case does remain active and ongoing.
Is it your belief that not only did these allegations that you're bringing, that this started with a constituent who reached out to Ms. Hill because of her position, hoping to get help, and got the opposite?
We are aware that this resident, that Ms. Hill became aware of this resident because of her position as the city commissioner, and that because of that she was able to lend what appeared to be some benefit services that then turned into these acts that we discussed.
Follow up, used her position as a city commissioner to her own advantage personally.
At some point, yes.
I know you said this is still an active investigation, so are you waiting on additional documentation, looking for more witnesses to talk to? Explain why it is still active.
So we have the arrest today. There will be further taskings from the prosecution that will follow up based on what we've come. There's always follow-up interviews to be done as we move forward. We're not sure where that will go, so that's why we say it's still active, because we don't know what will come out of today.
Do you anticipate additional arrests in this investigation?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Do you anticipate additional arrests? Like, is that also part of why it's still active?
We don't anticipate that today.
Do you think there will be federal charges?
I'm sorry?
Are you expecting federal charges in this case?
No, ma'am.
Special Agent Curtis McLeod with Special Needs 13. At this point in time, do you believe that these actions were habitual? Are there any more victims that may come forward in this investigation?
We are not aware today of other victims. However, it is ongoing, but we have no evidence today of other victims as of right now.
How much awareness, if any, did the victim have that she was signing away her rights to Commissioner Hill?
What we can speak about and what we know from the interviews and what we're allowed to say today is that the victim in this case was not aware of how much she had signed over to Commissioner Hill.
When or how did you victim in this case? How did you become aware of this?
Through our investigation and through interviews and through information we received as we continued to uncover some of the legal documents that had been filed and some of the other financial documents. Through discussions with her, we were able to determine what she knew and what she didn't know, and some of the facts that we know now she was unaware of.
What do you know about the condition and stuff that on issues with your parents? What do you think?
Probably not right now.
You're going to allow here in this investigation to other investigations that you've done involving city or county leaders. How did this stack up?
Well,
You found out.
well, let's talk about this. The charges today have to do with her acting as a citizen, not in her official capacity. So we need to stay focused on these crimes. She's charged because of what she did as a person.
So the nexus there is, she found out about this woman through her position with the city, but it's your belief that this was stuff she did not as a city commissioner, but as just a person in the community?
That is correct.
Again, I'm Jonathan Brown. I'm the founder of the World Marketing Magazine for Black Women Message. And I dedicated my life to black women and their enhancement. So is it fair to say that before you all took the drastic step of arresting her and charging her, that this was an exhaustive investigation and you did not take this money?
I can say this. From when we found out about this complaint, which was February 2023, we're talking about 13 months of investigation. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It was hundreds of hours. It involved a lot of people that you see here, looking through financial documents and interviewing people, and that we did not get here by taking this lightly or by doing it without looking through everything thoroughly and making sure that we had everything lined up correctly before we move forward.
Was she cooperative in the investigation?
We did not have many interactions with her during the investigation.
Lee, can I get one more comment from you? Do you mind?
Sure.
Step up. As somebody who's been, in law enforcement a long time, public servant for a long time, just the whole, while we're saying that it happened in personal capacity, clearly she's a public figure. Talk about how that makes you feel as far as the level of betrayal.
Well, it's not for any of us to speculate, right, what somebody's mindset is. We just follow the facts. Regina Hill was a city commissioner. As Sac Vecchio explained, the actions that were taken that resulted in the criminal charges are a result of Regina Hill being a member of the community. So I'm not going to speculate to anybody taking advantage of a position based on where they sit or what their job title is. I think that's for each individual to do on their own. So I'm not going to speak to that.
Leah, follow that. How do you separate those two things? Because you said she gained access to this woman because of the position she holds. And then you're saying this was as a private citizen. It seems like those lines are a little bit muddy.
Well, so gaining access to a constituent is what part of their job as a city commissioner would be, right? The charges are a result of a crime. So what we're going to focus on is what she did to commit a crime. What we've determined is what her actions were that violated Florida state statute was done as an individual. So that, you know, our job is to be professional, not to pay attention to any of the peripheral noise, to pay attention to the facts, let the facts take us where they may, and then we'll place the charges when we see that statutes have been violated. That's what we get.
There are no more questions.
Thank you guys for attending. We will be sending out press release in about 30-ish or so minutes. And any other further questions can be directed to our public information office.
But a lot of the activities took place in her office, from her office, by her office. Without her office, I don't see how you can